Good morning, everyone. Afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the Thought Leader Lounge. It's Monday, and we get to have our incredible time together to make this week epic. We meet on Mondays here in the Thought Leader Lounge, live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Zoom, so that we can get centered, elevate our mindset, and go out and get into powerful, committed action to be the leaders we came here to be, to make the impact we came here to make. And so I'm so excited to have you on the lounge. If it's your very first time, I'm Sarah Cannell. I'm the founder of Thought Leader Academy, and I have the incredible gift of getting to coach amazing women, men, entrepreneurs, experts who have a bigger story to share and have a mission that they are committed to fulfilling in the world. And we here at Thought Leader Academy get to help you become best-selling authors, get on stages and podcasts, find the people you're here to serve and support them. So hi, Stacey Workman. I'm so happy you're back. Welcome to everyone who's joining us in the Zoom room today. If you're on social and you want to come in the Zoom room live with us so you can have some more customized connection and coaching, just send an email to care@sarahcannell.com and we'll get you the secret link, like these amazing leaders who are here with us today, to come in the Zoom room. So we have a really exciting episode today in the Thought Leader Lounge. I'm going to introduce our best-selling author of the week in just a moment, the incredible, amazing Rosalind Rourke. I'm like getting my mouth ready to speak today. Rosalind Rourke is here, and she's going to be talking about her brand new best-selling book with us at the beginning of our session today. And then I am going to teach a new paradigm called bound and unbound energy. We're going to be doing an experience around energy, bound and unbound energy, why you want to know what that is, and what to do to unbind your energy if it's bound, and what that's going to do in some potentially very surprising ways in your life. So that's what's coming up on the lounge today. Just say hi if you're on social or here in Zoom. Say hi in the chat. Say something about how you're feeling on this Monday. I'm in Chicago right now, and it is overcast and very Halloween-y and very fall, autumnal colors, and sort of like 48 degrees. So a very different energy than a few weeks ago when many of you were here and it was, 80 degrees and sunny. So we have definitely moved into fall here in this part of the world. And I'd love to know how you're all doing. Inspired. Amy's feeling cozy. Lisa's feeling positive. Charlotte's feeling good and hopeful. I love it. So if you just jumped on again, we're going to do two things today. We have our best-selling author of the week, and we're going to talk to Rosalind Rourke. And then we are going to do an exercise on bound and unbound energy. So Rosalind, let's bring you up to the stage and let everyone meet you and hear about this awesome, beautiful new best-selling book. So please, everyone, let's give a big Thought Leader Lounge welcome to Rosalind.
Here it is. There it is.
Oh my gosh, look, it's there when wisdom arrives. And Rosalind, some of us got to meet you in Chicago. Rosalind was at Women Starting Movements with many of us 2 weeks ago. And so exciting to get to physically hold your book and get it signed and see you. But you're our best-selling author of the week. And we want to talk about just a couple of things for those of you who are watching and knowing this is on your vision board. You want to be a best-selling author. You want to give your gift, bring forth the big magic, the music in you. And Rosalind, you are modeling how it's done. So could you just share just a quick minute on why you wrote the book so people can get the mission behind it?
So my daughter unexpectedly died at age 39, and that turned around my life. I was retired, had no interest in writing a book ever, but had some very transformative experiences. And one was I was in grief, as you would expect, just letting it rip, when all of a sudden I was shaken and realized at that moment, I couldn't believe it, but I was okay. And I didn't know what that meant. It was very, very clear that I was okay. This was 2018, and we're at 2023 now. So 5+ years ago, 5.5 years ago. And I didn't know what was going on, but I had a moment that said, but mothers who love their daughters have to suffer.
Mm.
And I went, what? All of a sudden, the taboo became conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually became the reason for the book, not just in memory of my daughter and our experiences, which were rough, but got transformed before she passed.
Yeah.
But because my life I transmuted grief at that moment. I never went back. I
Oh,
never went back. It was as clear as putting your hand in the fire hurts
and then.
or take it out. It's that clear.
Mm.
I don't mean to minimize anybody's feelings during grief, but feelings aren't stages. You have a feeling, it lasts less than 90 seconds. Science says we can have a new feeling within 90 seconds if we don't add to it. So, because this experience was so unusual, I wrote a story that was aimed at using no non-dual language, no jargon.
Mm-hmm.
It described an 11-year-old girl who was suffering because of thoughts and feelings about her body.
Mm-hmm.
And she used the same techniques that I used about grief later on. If the pain would come back, I'd allow the pain, but not add to it.
Yeah.
And my life has been bigger, and I came out of retirement, wrote a best-selling book.
Yeah.
I'm on a speaking tour. I've resumed my practice. I'm teaching Enneagram classes. So I have a big life, bigger than before she passed.
Mm.
And it's all encapsulated in that book.
My heart is welling, and everybody who's watching this right now, feel free to share what's resonating with you in Rosalind's story. Just my gratitude, Rosalind, for you being a thought leader who can show us a way of feeling what we feel, of course, having our human experience and liberating ourselves from suffering. Again, whether it's over our bodies, whether it's over, a relationship, whether it's over death, whatever that is, because it's so easy to get seduced into where we add to it. Like you said, you have a feeling and then we add story and we add suffering and we add returning to the past and all of those things that we do, right? Reliving. That's what I used to do in my PTSD days, right? So I'm so grateful to you. And I'm so excited to hear about the big life. And Jill, if you would drop a link to Rosalind's book, because I know people in the chat are asking for a link to the book. So we want to make sure everybody can get the book, can read this incredible, it's a fabulous book, right? And when I used to hear fabulous, I would think, oh, as in fabulous with the T, right? It is fabulous, but it's also fabulous in that you created a story, right? You created like Aesop with his fables and, that type of thing. And so it's really powerful. Jill's just shared the link. Those of you that want to see Rosalind's book and experience the healing power, because Rosalind, the book is a healing agent. The book is doing this for us. Now, how many of you really are excited and want to do something like Rosalind's done? Like, not only write the bestseller, but be on the speaking tour, be out opening up your service to the world, your impact. I mean, Rosalind, you were retired. You're like, I was doing therapy for 30 years, you've done it, right? And what's been like, could you just tell us like the most fun moment you've had now that your life has taken you in a direction you weren't expecting? You didn't expect this to be your next chapter.
I think that's it. They're not expecting the surprise element of people being so touched by the fable, people being touched by the memoir. Yesterday, I got a note from someone that said the Q&A at the back of the book changed her life. Like, that was shocking to me. Like, that added on so people could adapt the story to other situations. But I never thought of that as being transformative to someone.
Yeah.
And people resonating far and wide. shockingly to me, like the surprise element, living more in the mystery rather than just the freedom. I've added mystery to what freedom feels like.
Oh, it's so amazing. And I feel like in some ways, Rosalind, you're modeling, at least for me, what so many of us want, which is, of course, to bring our work to the world, be of service to others. You're obviously doing that, leading your movement. Also, like you said, personally adding mystery, adding wonder, adding
Well, and I'm
surprise.
76, so
Right. Can you guys hear this?
I'm just
Anybody
getting
who's got an
started.
age story, nobody gets to use that. You're going to think about Rosalind. There's no too late. I waited too long. Like, yes, Rosalind, your life, you said you've got a bigger life than before at 76, and I can see it in you. I've had the
Yeah.
gift of coaching with you for a few years. I see the opening, the expansion, the greater light.
And the fun. And, it for me, it's not about the money. I can't think of anything I could buy that could be as much fun as this.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh, Karen Lee says I published my first book at 76 too. Congratulations, Rosalind. Yeah, you all are showing us the truth that we are unlimited, that we are eternal, that all the things. And Rosalind, we just wish you like the most. You want to end with like what you're most looking forward to? Like, what is there a particular event coming up, or is there something that you're just like kind of tickled about in part of this fun new experience?
Being celebrated. It's very, very new for
Yeah.
me to be celebrated by other people. My best friend just gave a party for me that I couldn't even find the words to tell you how touched I was, the extent that she went to. My sister is giving another party on another coast. And I'm not used to being celebrated. I'm used to being loved. I have taken
Yeah.
in love, but the celebration of me by other people and my life in the book, and it's just new and extremely exciting.
Well, we could not be more honored and lucky and blessed to have you as part of Thought Leader Academy and Mastery in this community. And I know it's really, like you said, it's the beginning. So let's stay in the mystery together, let it unfold. And can you all give Rosalind so much love? We'll put the link again and we'll put it in the email recap as well, so that you can all get Rosalind's book if you're watching the replay or you're on social and watching this later. Thank you, Rosalind, for making some time for us today.
Thank you,
Keep
everybody.
having fun. Yes. Oh my goodness. Isn't this amazing, you guys? Just amazing. So, everybody take a breath and like, what did you get from Rosalind's share today? Is it just more clear that you are going for it, that you're going to do your book, that you're going to have fun, that you're going to let yourself be who you came here to be, regardless of what it's looked like up until now? I would love to hear from everybody in the comments and the chat what inspiration you're taking from Rosalind sharing with us today. Yeah, never too late. Yes. And Maggie's talking about Rosalind's origin story, undeniable. That's right. Like to go through the hardest thing that a person can go through in by many definitions, right? And to be transformed and then to be the agent of transformation. It just moves me to my core. So thank you, Rosalind. So good, guys. It's so good. So we're going to take the energy that Rosalind's modeling for us about commitment, about vision, about possibility, about fun, and we're going to do a little bit of a mysterious exercise, Rosalind. So this is so synchronistic that you were our best-selling author of the week, and we're going to be doing an experience around bound and unbound energy. And before we do that, a few people were asking, I just want to do a few quick announcements of what's coming up for those of you that asked. Today, the Abundance Accelerator begins. So if you are already coaching with us in Thought Leader Academy, Mastery, or Oracle, you already have your spot in the Abundance Accelerator. It's a 4-week immersion where I'm walking you through the science of getting rich for women. And we are taking massive action in our mindset internally for our personal growth, and then outward action to generate financial abundance for our visions, for your life, for your world, for whatever it is that financial abundance wants to empower in your life. So that starts today at 2:00, I think, Eastern time. Let me double check. And if Jill, you can drop the link. If anyone is not registered and wants to register, you can use that link and join us. Those of you who are already coaching with us, you're in, you've got your spot. And thank you. We've got the link there. So join us if you want to have the next month be your most prosperous month of the year so far. And if you want to really create opportunity and abundance for your vision over the next 4 weeks in a really powerful, like-minded group. So that's there. We'll have announcements next week for our next best-selling book boot camp is coming up in November, and so many other amazing events between now and the end of the year that will be virtual so that you can attend from all over the world. And yes, everything gets recorded. If you register, you'll get recordings of anything that we do. Okay, so that's what's coming up. And we are going to move now. Let's take a breath. If you feel comfortable, like reaching up, maybe you want to close your eyes for a minute and just do kind of a ha, just shake, sort of come into your center. Sometimes Mondays can be really exciting. Like, I'm back from the weekend. I have my visions. I'm ready to go take massive action. Sometimes we can start the week and feel kind of like off or thrown, or, maybe something was kind of percolating. So let's just get centered in this now moment. And I just affirm that everyone who's here watching this recording receives something breakthrough from this next segment, and that it improves your life, expands you, transforms you, and lets you have the best week of your life so far. All right, so good stuff. That's what we get to do. Every week gets to be the best week so far because we have agency, we have intention. And I'm going to be doing a whole, training. I had a big manifestation over the weekend that I'm going to do. Maybe next episode, I'll do a whole step-by-step of from vision to physical form, so that I can share that step-by-step, because I tried some new things in order to prepare for creating more of what we want in our life, for allowing, not even doing it, allowing it. There's an interesting principle about energy. Okay. And when I'm talking about energy, I don't mean how tired or awake we feel. I'm talking about our energy, our flow. We could call it our soul, our vibration, our aura. Okay. So if any of this sounds too woo-woo, just stick with me. This is actually based in scientific principle from Aristotle, if you can believe it. What I'm going to teach now comes out of Aristotle's First Principles, which is where we use scientific reasoning to, create and do things in our life. So I heard a YouTube video, and the speaker was talking about bound and unbound energy. So what does that mean? So if we take our life as an ecosystem, if you've ever done a wheel of life, like in coaching, or a thought leader wheel with me, we can look at various areas of our life, like relationships, health, money, our career or entrepreneurship, creativity, spirituality. We can look at areas of a human life, whichever ones are important to you. And we can just feel into how in flow those areas feel. Does the energy feel flowing and free flowing like a beautiful river with a yummy, healthy current? Or is there like stagnation? Is there debris? And you feel like the water's sort of dammed up, and there's maybe a pool of just a reservoir of water that's not really like getting flushed out and free flowing. So if you like a water analogy, that might be helpful for you. I just sort of feel into the areas of my life, and I can feel intuitively often if things feel in a really flowing, healthy state, or if I feel like there's some conflict or stagnation or stress or worry, right? Fear. Those are the things that can create that stagnation. So what we want to do is talk about the principle of bound and unbound energy, because I was inspired by this YouTube video on it. And what it comes down to is that often in our life, we think about situations or challenges and we want to solve them. So everybody right now who's on Zoom, and if you're on social, put it in the comments. Is there an area of your life you're trying to figure something out around? Okay, just put yes or me in the chat if it's like there's something, if you're, maybe it's a decision you're making in your business, maybe it's something in a relationship. Some of you might be deciding where I'm going to live, moving or not moving, staying in something, not staying in something. Yeah, almost all the time. Amy Day is on. She's our decision-making thought leader. We're usually in some kind of a process around decisions we make in our life. Like, right. We just, and the obvious logical thing is to approach the situation either from a logical perspective or a spiritual perspective or whatever your worldview is, and solve for it. And that's a great thing. We're not going to stop doing that. But bound and unbound energy actually takes the focus off the specific situation. And the principle is that if we have bound energy somewhere in our life, fear, worry, something that's unresolved, we haven't cleaned up a relationship issue, we haven't made a decision, we're stagnating and procrastinating. If we've got that going on and we unbind that energy, the solution to the situation, decision, or problem will actually either take care of itself or reveal its optimal pathway. All right, so I'm going to give some examples so this doesn't sound like just a weird, confusing theory, because it took me a little bit to wrap my mind around it. So let's say that you are really working on your business and you are going to come to the Abundance Accelerator and you want to manifest, $100,000 in the next month. Let's just say that was a goal that you have. You really want to create financial abundance in your business, or you want to, like Rosalind, you want to finish your manuscript of your best-selling book, something like that. You have a goal. Instead of only focusing on getting your writing done or taking action around making sales in your business, the unbound bound energy paradigm would say that first, scan your life and see if there's any bound energy, and first unbind the energy. Because what will happen when the energy gets unbound is that you might get an idea that will generate more sales and hit that 100,000, or you will suddenly feel very motivated to write in a way that you didn't before, or the time to write that you couldn't find suddenly presents itself. So instead of just fixing the situation, we're zooming back in our life and thinking about bound energy. What are examples of bound energy? Be a very logical question if anyone's wondering that. Bound energy could look like you had a conflict with a family member, and it's just sitting there in an unresolved state. Like you haven't had either a clearing conversation, a healing conversation. If there is something that you want to kind of make an apology or an amends about, you would do that. Or maybe there isn't anything that you did, but you want to say, hey, I'm aware we're not close. I'm aware that this feels hard right now. I'd love to find a way to move forward in a way that honors us both. Like, is there a conversation you haven't had? Is there something around, maybe the bound energy is that you've avoided your book or your business or something like that. And simply by simply by going into that energy and saying, I'm going to loosen this up and I'm going to show up for this today. I might not have a solution, but I am going to show up to the page, or I am going to show up to my business in this way. I'm going to unbind. And the crazy part was that people who traced the bound and unbound energy was that, let's say they cleaned up a conversation in their marriage, and then they ended up actually going out and having their highest income month, but they did nothing different in their business. It was unbinding the marriage energy. So an example that one of the people was having this discussion made is that he felt like he was kind of neglecting his wife a little bit. And it didn't feel good, but he was really, really focused on his business and launching this new business. And so instead of working 80 hours, nonstop and ignoring his wife, he said, okay, we are going to have a date every week, no matter what's happening in the business. And we are going to have a connection time and intimacy time every single day, no matter what's happening in the business. And so he unbound the energy in the marriage and ended up having the launch of his life in the business. It shouldn't have worked that way. In his mind, he's taking time away from his business to focus on the marriage. But because there was a bound energy, he felt guilt. He felt crappy. He felt out of alignment with his values. The energy was bound. When he unbound it, the business launch increased exponentially without him actually putting in more hours and more effort. So I just want to see if this is interesting to anyone. First, before trying to even understand it too well, does anyone feel like this is interesting? Put I for interesting in the comments or the chat if this is intriguing to you. If you're maybe there's something, I'm going to tell you how I applied it in the last 7 days, because theoretically, it makes sense to me. If something's bound up and I'm not addressing it, it might be affecting negatively other areas. Conversely, if I free up and heal that particular situation, it might benefit other areas of my life. We are holistic beings. So that made sense to me. So I just did a very short, intuition time. I quieted myself. I closed my eyes and I just asked, where, if anywhere, is there bound energy in my life or my body? Me is saying, yep. So I checked in and I got 4 things. All right, I got 4 answers. There were 1, 2, 3 were professional, where there was some bound energy, where things were kind of stuck and stagnating that I hadn't like fully resolved yet, because I didn't, have an idea of how to resolve them. And then one was a personal, there was something I wanted to get and do for our family that I kept saying I was interested in doing and not actually doing. And so what was it? I just wrote down the 4 things. I didn't have solutions for the 4 things. I just said, here are 4 areas of bound energy in my life. And all I did is take one next action step to free the energy. So I didn't have, because some of these were quite large. So I just made an appointment to talk to the person if it was around the work stuff. I went and actually took the actions to get the thing for my family that I wanted to get. And in unbinding the energy, I'm going to keep you all posted over this month, because 3 of them are in process and 1 of them is complete. So I'm going to share in real time over this next month what happens when I unbind the energy in these 4 areas. Why was it bound? Because I felt afraid. 2 of them involved conversations that 3 of them involved conversations that I thought were going to be really hard. So far, 1 of them was, and 1 of them was not hard. And then I'll let you know, the 3rd one's happening tomorrow. And the thing that I was getting from my family ended up being like a freaking party. It was so much easier and more joyful than I thought. So I just want, Mia, you asked if you have bound energy in your body, that could look like, maybe there's a different kind of movement that would open it. Maybe there's a type of Reiki or body work or something that might unbind it. Stacy, you're saying new relationship, lack of self-love, care, unresolved personal pride. Yeah, we likely all have. I had 4 very clear ones rise right up when I asked this question of myself: where is the energy bound, if anywhere? And those 4 came roaring to the surface. And so what is so beautiful is that then we get to just say, like, what's one tiny thing I could do to start opening the energy? Right? Because like I said, one of mine got resolved, at least mainly in 1 conversation. The other one's multiple conversations. And then we trust that by unbinding the energy, we free everyone. We free every area of our life, personally and professionally. We free our bodies, and we free the other humans with which we're interacting. Because even if we think it's a hard conversation, like, it's for the highest good for everybody. Yes. Stacy, you showed up here today. That's unbinding your energy. You came. So I want us all to do this. Let's take a minute together and make this real. Just play around with it, just for fun. And if you like to close your eyes, close your eyes. If you like to free write and journal, free write and journal. Let's take 2 minutes right now and just ask yourself, your higher self, your inner wisdom, whatever is, the way that you like to get your intuitive information. Just ask, please show me anywhere where there is bound energy in my life. Okay, let's do that for 2 minutes. I'm going to do it again to see if there's anything else I need to add to my list. All right, here we go. Just deep breaths. Don't do it from your head. Drop into your soul, drop into your inner wisdom. And it's fine if nothing comes. It's great. If anything does come, just make a note of it. Please show me anywhere in my life where there is bound energy. Breathe deeply into your belly if you can. If you're feeling any contraction in your physical body, just bring the breath there. and take a deep breath and out. And just note to yourself, you don't need to share anything personal in the chat or the comments, of course. But if anyone discovered, put B for bound. If you got an answer of anywhere that there's bound energy, you were able to identify. Yeah. This is so exciting. Look at the potential here. Because like, watch, if we find it, we can unbind it. Right? If we find the bound energy, we get to unbind it. So now I want everybody to pick, if you had more than one, like I had 4 very clear ones, pick one of those areas. Just circle it if you wrote it down, or think it if you were in a more meditative state. Don't worry about unbinding everything today. Just pick one area that has felt bound. And then ask that same inner wisdom, higher self, whatever it is that you tuned into, what is the first step in unbinding that energy? Okay, let's take a minute there and breathe into that. All right, you're just asking for a specific thing you get to do that will begin or completely unbind that energy. Just picking one bound place. Okay, 1 minute, here we go. Okay, take a breath, give some movement, get the energy, just give your arms a stretch, or give your deep breath, or loosen up your jaw. Amy, you love it? I'm loving it too. I thought about you with this because this is helpful for decisions, right? So how many of you put me, if you got an action step that you can take to begin or completely unbind the energy in that one area? Okay. Yeah, okay, good. So lots of you did. Amazing. Isn't this cool? How we can just get like, it's like, oh, the answer is inside. The answer's here. Okay, so now if you didn't get one, I'm going to give you a step you can still take. If you weren't sure, if you were like, oh, I'm kind of focused on the bound energy. I don't know. Sometimes we get a little in our heads. You're going to find someone. If you're in Thought Leader Academy or coaching with us, message one of your buddies. You can find someone here in the Zoom room or in the chat in the comments on social. Find someone and you're not asking for advice, but you can meet with somebody and just connect with them on text or however you want to do it and say, here's an area where I feel bound. And you can kind of go back and forth with another person, just generating ideas, right? They're not there to tell you what to do or, be your, guidance counselor or anything like that, but you can brainstorm. Okay. Like, and here's the meta question that's going to at least freeze my brain and a lot of our clients. Instead of saying like, what should I do to unbind the energy? What should I do? That will make get in your head and you'll get spinny. So instead you say, what would a person who had bound energy in this area, what's something they might do to unbind it? So it's going to access a different part of our brain, a more wise and more evolved part of the brain. Instead of saying, what should I do? Because then we get kind of, I have to fix it, I have to solve it. We're just like, what would a person do that was feeling bound? Yes, I love that Cliff is on the lounge today with you, Amy. I love it. You generated ideas. Exactly. So you can do it with a partner. You can do it with a kid. You can do it. I've done this with my son. I'll even say, I'll say, he's kind of wanting one thing, not sure what to do. We'll say, well, let's just play for fun. Like, what would a kid in, middle school do that wanted to, X, Y, Z, right? You can even do it with yourself and journal. What would a person, like if a friend called me and they had bound energy in this area, like what's something they might do? And sometimes you'll get an idea and you'll go, oh, like, damn, I give good advice, right? You're just going to pull it out of your own wisdom. All right. So who is willing to play with this week? Who is willing to take the action that you just came up with? Or get together with somebody to create an action. If you didn't get clear on one, put me, if you're willing to play with this week, you're going to unbind one area. Okay. We're just going to unbind one thing. I took those 4 bound energy spots, and each day I just took one action to start unbinding them, because some of them are a process. In my particular, situation, sometimes there's like a process around me to get this information. I'm gonna have this conversation. We're gonna decide what to do. Yeah. And by no means hold yourself back. If you want to go at it, like, I'm just going to do all of them this week, because I just want it to be just like, I'm ready. I want to be unbound. Right. And then here's the really, really important cherry on top. We're going to come back to the lounge next week, and we're going to look at what has happened in our life when we unbind the energy. I want you to pay attention to signs. I want you to pay, because remember the example, the person who worked on his marriage and then had this really successful financial month. He was in an either or conversation. I can either focus on my marriage or focus on my business. I can either focus on my marriage or make lots of money. And he ended up getting to do both because he unbound the marriage energy. So what I want us to do is pay attention to all the neat stuff that shows up in our life when we begin to unbind the energy. And then I'm going to walk you through the first of the manifestations that have happened to me since being in this exercise. I'm in process on 3. 1 got completely fulfilled over the weekend, and I just didn't have time to do all of that today, because I want you guys to get out and get on with your week. So we're going to do that next week. So I'm really excited to be in the lounge. So definitely mark your calendars. Come back at noon next week in the lounge so that we can do this work together. Okay. So it looks like a lot of you are a yes to playing with the bound. And I think a great way to just keep, like Stacy was saying about keeping accountable, I think just keeping a little check-in. If you've got a journal, if you've got something where you are able to just at the end of the day, just say, ooh, did anything free up? Do I see any more flow than I was seeing before? Did something kind of get resolved without me taking a lot of effort? Where, like that unbinding, where did that new unbound energy rush to next? Sometimes we see things very quickly. Sometimes it takes a little time, but that's what we're going to be up to. And definitely come unbind your financial energy at the Abundance Accelerator today. Okay. We're going to be at 2:00 Eastern. It's going to be fire. We are going to manifest, like, I think it's going to be the best round we've ever done. That's what because I've been meditating on it a lot this weekend. And whether you want to manifest financial abundance, love abundance, health abundance, energy abundance, it's for any abundance you want. Join us today at 2:00 Eastern. If you aren't already registered, you can register here. And then we will see you all. If you're already working with us in our programs, you'll get the, Zoom link. Okay. We are going to do powerful, powerful work in that accelerator this fall. So you don't want to miss it. We will be there. We'll be back here next week talking about, I'm going to open it up in this chat, and I want to hear what's happened when you unbind the energy. What did you notice in multiple areas of your life? I'm so excited for the flow, and huge thank you again to Rosalind for being our special best-selling author of the week. We're so thrilled for you and excited for what's next. Let's get after it, guys. This is going to be a great week. I'll see you either today at 2 or next Monday. Bye.